Yeah. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So this text called Vigyana Nauka, also known as Swarupa Anusandhana Ashtakam. Okay. 8 verses on remembering yourself, and it's also known as Vigyana Nauka, the boat of knowledge. I think the title was based on what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Jnana plavena sarvam vrajanam samtarishyati. On the small raft of knowledge, you will cross over all problems. So, the boat that takes you across the ocean of samsara. You're sailing on the ocean with a small boat. Yeah, the boat is knowledge, it will take you across. The ship of karma cannot take you across, but the boat of knowledge can take you across. Okay. You know, a lot of this ocean, etc. examples come not because I was a sailor in the Purvashrama, because samsara is represented by the ocean. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure for the people at that time, ocean was a little bit a thing to be held in awe, held in respect. Okay, yeah. Not a, yeah. In fact, if you see some of the sailing boats that are there from olden days, you'll wonder how they crossed the 7 seas with that. Yeah. Compared to the big ocean liners that we have now. Yeah. Anyway, that apart, it's attributed to Shankaracharya. We don't know for sure whether it is Shankara's work or not. Okay. Because lot of works have been attributed to the Adi Shankara, the first Acharya, Shankaracharya. His Acharya was a title, Shankara was his name. Bhagavad Pada was added as his sannyasi name those days. Because those days it was not necessary that it has to be Ananda, etc., like how it is now. Okay. Like his guru was Govinda Bhagavad Pada. His grand guru was Gauda Pada. So he was Bhagavad Pada. Okay. Yeah. So that was added to the name when you took sannyasa. Shankara, what his parents called him. Okay. As he was born with Shiva's blessings. So after him, Shankaracharya became a title. And he formalized the sannyasi structure into 10 names, Dasanami, associated with the 4 mathas, etc. So it got a bit of a structure there. There is no real organization. There are institutions of learning, and it remains a very open networking body. Okay. So these verses are attributed to him. We don't know whether it's him or any later Shankaracharya who wrote it. But either way, it's fine. It is also called Swarupa Anusandhanam because it can also be used for contemplation. Because every verse ends with Para Brahma Nityam Tadeva Aham Asmi iti. Okay. That by the 3rd verse, etc., maybe I'll explain that. Okay. So with that, let us start. Okay. The first verse goes like this. Okay. And I also have to mention in passing that we deliberately kept it on Vasanta Panchami day. Because this is a day for a lot of things. Saraswati Puja is one thing that is Okay. Sometimes what is this unmute myself when I already unmuted? Okay. So sometimes this Wi-Fi gives some problems, so I shifted over to my phone. God willing, this should not be a problem now. Okay. All right. So having said that, I said, okay, let us get into the text. Okay. So he said, Tapo yajna jana divihi shuddha buddhihi. Shuddha buddhihi. He is starting with the qualifications for the study of Vedanta. Okay. What is the qualification? Shuddha buddhihi. A simple way of presenting it. Okay. The one whose mind is clear. Now, what is Shuddha Buddhi? You can look at it from the standpoint of sadhana chatushtayam, viveka vairagya shat sampatti mumukshutvam iti. One way of looking at it. Want a simpler way to remember? To be able to think clearly, feel deeply, act decisively. If you can do that, you have a certain sense of maturity, a certain natural competency. Because if you can think clearly, there's very little thing you can't achieve, or very little thing that you can't learn. Okay. Therefore, in that sense, it's a simpler way of presenting the same thing. Of course, really speaking, one has to look at it from the standpoint of viveka, vairagya, etc. Now, where does this come from? Really speaking, it is a natural process of living well. Okay. The qualifications of studying Vedanta, you pick up by your clean living. But living can mean many things, especially in pandemic days when everything is happening from home. So he adds what that living has to include. Tapaha, yajnaha, danaha. He puts tapas first there. In the order, it could have been any order. Tapas. Now, tapas generally is talked about as austerities. Why austerities? Okay. Because generally people get into a very comfort zone. They have their routine of life, and they get stuck in that comfort zone. As one of my students came and told me after one of my workshops, Swamiji, I am stuck in a rut. It's a happy rut, but it's a rut all right. With certain routines, when life is somewhat set, you tend to get stuck in a rut. So what's wrong with it? Everything is going smooth. Yeah, nothing wrong with it, except that growth doesn't happen. If you're stuck in a rut, you won't grow. Growth happens only when you're willing to step out of your comfort zones. Do things that you have not done before. Push yourself a little bit. Not say, oh, this is what I am, this is comfortable, my life is going smooth. What can you do a little differently? Little bit. So that you can grow. Try something different. What is it that you can do differently? Yeah. Go on a yatra. That way going on trips, etc. is good, you know. Going on your holidays, etc. is also good because you are exposing yourself to new cultures, etc. New types of food, new types of cultures. Unless, of course, like the typical Indian, you are carrying your khakras with you. Don't try the local food, etc. In olden days, yatras were meant for all that, you know. Because everywhere was on bullock cart or walking and things like that. And when you are doing it like that, how much food are you going to carry? How much food can you carry? You have to depend on what is locally available. Yeah. And that is the whole charm of a yatra. But Swamiji, I am a South Indian. We cook everything in coconut oil or in groundnut oil, and they are cooking in mustard oil. Good, eat that. You are stepping out of your comfort zone. A simple thing like small taste in the oil that is used for cooking, you cannot make. Come on. I am not asking this Tambram or Nambudri to eat meat. I am not asking him to do that. I am just saying shift of cooking oil. Like this family I know came from Kerala to Bombay for 2 days. So they are staying in the hotel. They said, Swamiji, we are used to eating rice. Where can we get rice? And little bit Mallu style cooking. So I took them to a restaurant. I said, here, these are the restaurants where you will get a rice plate, this, that. But they didn't enjoy it. Why? It is not that para-boiled rice that you get in Kerala. I said, you got rice, na? Be happy. What I am trying to say is people are so unwilling to do something differently. This is what I am saying. Get stuck in a rut. Your physical habits are in a rut. Your thinking is in a rut. There is no way you are going to understand something new which is so drastically different from everything that you experience. All you experience is duality. And what we are doing is non-duality. All you are used to is sometimes happy, sometimes sad. Kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. And we are talking about being Ananda Swarupa. All you are used to is yourself, I, me and mine. My small family, this, that, etc. And we are talking about one universe. How will that mind that is so conditioned ever understand something like that? Really? How? How do you expect that mind? That can't make a small change as far as your eating habit is concerned. How do you expect that mind? The problem is not with the eating habit, the problem is what's happening in the mind. And don't tell me, no, Swamiji, the problem, there I am like that, but here I am okay. Don't give me that bull. Okay. That's just justification to continue as you are. Really, that's justification. Yeah. Yeah, really. That way Westerners are much better than us. They will go to any country, they will backpack, rough it out, eat anything. They are used to very bland food in Europe, but they'll come to India and eat all the spicy curry, even though it gives them trouble next morning. But they're willing to do all that. I respect them for that, yeah. Because they're not stuck in a rut like that. I mean, they may have different type of ruts that we will deal with, that they have to examine their life and see. So to step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. That's why in India, fasting was a big thing. Was the big any austerity you talk of, you will start with fasting. Any puja, etc., you skip that morning meal. Only after the puja, etc., is over will you eat something. Why? Because we are used to eating 3 times a day, minimum. Minimum 3 times a day, with a few snacks in between. You know, when I was a student in the ashram, it was a joke that all Americans have an oral fixation. Why? At any time they want some stimulus. Either they are drinking some tea or they are chewing some gum. That's another form of rut. So because 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks are available for us on a regular basis, so austerity starts with no food, tapas, and to be comfortable with that, not to be meditating on food. See, it's easy to forget food if you are busy with something. If you're busy with work, you don't even realize, something work that you enjoy. Oh, time for lunch, huh? Oh, okay. It's already 3 o'clock, okay. No, here you're doing nothing but contemplation or some puja or something simple like that and skipping food. Tapas, because that body will draw your mind to it. The more civilized we get, the more tapas is necessary in our lives. Why? Because civilization is what? Getting yourself more and more comfortable. Converting luxuries into necessities. Isn't that what civilization is about? Urbanization is about. Yeah, look at it. Nowadays, heaters, AC and all are considered necessities, yeah. Before you move into a new flat, you fix up the AC and things like that. A necessity. 20 years back, it was not necessity in Bombay. In Bombay, at least, it was not considered a necessity, it was considered a luxury. Today, even the middle class think of it as a necessity. I'm talking of AC, I'm not talking of footwear and things like that. When we were kids, okay, even footwear was a luxury. Why? It's to go to my village. Every holiday was spent in my village. So we are going from Bombay, etc. We have sandals on our feet, everything fine. Then we enter our village home. You remove your sandals and there is a place to keep all the sandals. You're not supposed to take it inside the house. So you keep it there. And then whole village, everywhere you're roaming without footwear because everyone is roaming without footwear. Footwear is not necessary. But there are thorns and things like that. There are thorns and things like that. So if a thorn enters your feet, no problem. Take it, pull it out. What's the big deal? The stones are there. The road is not tarred, smooth. It's a country road. Yeah, it's are there. Your legs will get tougher. No problems. Anyway, you go to a temple, you have to remove the others. You go to anyone's house, you have to remove your footwear. From one house to the next house you are going, you have to remove your footwear. So why wear footwear at all? Yeah, that's how it was when I was a kid in villages. So when do you remember your footwear? After a month when you have to come back. Oh, tomorrow is a train to go back. Where are my slippers gone? Where are my sandals? You hunt for it and you find it. So when civilization is the art of converting luxuries into necessities, then more tapas is necessary because you are stuck in a very comfortable zone. Your body is demanding comfort. You are getting comfort oriented. Comfort orientation means your thinking is in a rut. Remember this. You cannot become uncomfortable in your thinking. If you cannot become uncomfortable physically, do you think you can become comfortable emotionally or thought-wise? Even physical discomfort you cannot take. Then what if new ideas are introduced? Therefore, tapas is a way of handling your mind through the body. Similar to yoga, you try to handle your mind through the body. So, tapo bhikshina papanam. Elsewhere in Atmabodha, Shankara writes the same idea. Tapo bhikshina papanam. By tapas, whose all these conflicts have been removed. So here also, by tapas. Yeah. Emotionally. Yeah. Thinking wise. Have you ever thought of having different emotions? Yeah. With something that you love to do or something you don't like to do. Have a different emotion to it. Have a different emotion with respect to something that you do dislike. Maybe start with eating, it's easier. Those who don't like sweets, eat a bit of sweets, bit of it, okay? Not very healthy. Those who don't like bitter things, start with a bit of bitter things. And I'm not talking about beer or chocolate, bitter chocolate. I'm talking about other bitter things. Yeah. Beer and bitter chocolate everybody will like. I don't like beer. Never did. Even as a sailor I didn't like it. For me it was supposed to give someone company to have it. Even as a sailor. So, have a different emotion with respect to the same thing. Change your type of thinking. This has become very important in Vedanta because Vedanta is all cognitive. So, a lot of things you have to change in your thinking. So, thinking patterns have to change. You have to be able to objectify your thinking pattern and change that. All this is part of tapas. I will give you a simple exercise for this, okay? That you can do by yourself. In a camp or just a weekend, there is no time to do all that. Take any issue that you are confronting. Small thing. How would you routinely think about it? Think about the worst case scenario with respect to the same thing. Think of the best case scenario with respect to the same thing. A very optimistic view. A very pessimistic view, very optimistic view. Routine view. A creative view. And in all this, if you can find a realist view also, you'll find that there's nothing much real about it, but whatever. Whatever is functionally real, think about it. Yeah. Those of you who are good at, who would love to read something more, 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. He was a writer of lateral thinking. Okay. Yeah. It gives you a framework to do all this, that's all. Nothing more than that. But to break patterns of thinking and get into new patterns of thinking. All this will come under tapas. All this will come under tapas. Vak tapas is also there. Tapas with respect to your word. Simple. Do what you say what you do. That integrity of communication. You don't have to keep saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I meant it like this, I meant it like that. No, say it. No? Yeah. You don't have to take something back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. No, you're careful about it. You are deliberate about what you are saying. Yeah. Hitam bruyat, satyam bruyat. Satyam, hritam and priyam. Whatever you say, let it be true. Let it be beneficial for the people. And if it is unpleasant, say it in a nice manner. Priyam. If you can't do any of the three, better keep quiet. Satyam bruyat, speak the truth. Hitam bruyat, you have to speak the truth only if it is helpful for people. No? You know somebody is an idiot. What's the point in calling him an idiot? It is not hitam, it doesn't solve anything. Priyam, if you have to give a feedback to somebody you care about, say it in a nice manner. It may be not very pleasant. That's why nobody else has spoken about it. But say it in a nice manner so that the person can take it in a non-judgmental manner. Non-condemning, non-judgmental manner. Say that. Yeah. All this is vak tapas. Tapas is the sign of words. Tapas in terms of deeds. To be helpful. To be ready to help people when they need it. That's also part of tapas. Because we don't like to come, to go and meet somebody because the person is suffering. So you're breaking your routine and making time for that person. It's part of tapas. Something I'm doing all the time. My problem is I'm over-involved with people. If your problem is being over-involved with people, refrain. Don't do it. That becomes tapas for you. Intellectually explore different ideas, different thoughts, preferably completely different from what you are used to. All this breaks the patterns, opens up your mind for new ideas, fresh ideas, opens up your heart to be able to enable Ananda to come through. Okay? Otherwise, Ananda will remain a concept, not a fact for you. Then, tapaha yajna danabhi yajna. Yajna literally means a yaga, a Vedic worship. But any form of worship, by implication, any form of worship can be included into it. Any form. Yeah. Any form of worship can be included into this. Yeah. Yeah. So too. Why? Because without Ishvara's grace, this knowledge again doesn't come through. An act of worship is meant to evoke the feeling of bhakti out of you. With your studies, you have some understanding of Ishvara. What is bhakti? Bhakti is your emotional response to your understanding of Ishvara. Your devotion. It comes from your understanding. Therefore, the more refined your understanding, the more refined is your bhakti. But very often you have a disconnect between your understanding and your feelings. We have that. We understand Ishvara, but there is no bhakti feeling coming up. Therefore, any act of worship is a conversion program, but a good conversion program, not a problematic conversion. You are not changing somebody's religion, no. You are converting the non-bhakta into a bhakta, into a spasmodic devotee to a regular devotee. Because our devotion comes in spasms. When you have a problem, when we have to get something done, then it like spasms, it comes up. Very spasmodic. No, you are regular. Bhakti is part of your life. Because without that, you can't have karma yoga buddhi. How are you going to live a life of karma yoga without bhakti? Because karma yoga is Ishvara arpanam and prasada buddhi. With respect to life, That means tomorrow if I get COVID, I should be able to take it as prasada buddhi. Swamiji, what are you talking about COVID and prasada? Correct. Correct. Accept it as prasada, then you will find that maybe there is some learning in it. But Swamiji, I am the woman of the house, everything revolves around me. If I don't do things, things will come to a halt. Let it revolve around you literally. You don't do anything. That is the learning there. Let others do for a change. But they won't do it my way. Good. Let them do it their way. There are more than one ways of doing a thing right. You don't have to get so upset just because it's not done your way. But many homemakers find it very difficult. Why homemakers? Many men also find it difficult. Therefore, that prasada buddhi, etc., how can you have? Unless bhakti is there. And if this disconnect is there, you need acts of worship to get that emotion out, to let that emotion flow. You can sing all you want, let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. But it won't happen unless you let it flow literally by an action. Yeah. It is exactly like how you make a friend. How do you become a friend? You do actions that are associated with friendship. Friends will meet up for a coffee, not in a bar for a date, for a coffee. Okay? There is a little difference between dating and being a friend. No? Come on, I should not be telling you all this. You all are experienced in these things. So, friends will meet for a coffee, you will meet for a coffee. Act as though you are friends. Friends will go for a movie together, you also will go for a movie together. Though you have not yet become friends. But after some time, because you have done associated actions associated with friendship, and your intention is to be a friend, you will find friendship has grown. Similarly, you will do actions associated with bhakti, with the intention of helping you have that devotion. Automatically devotion comes up. Because understanding is there, only the emotion has to follow suit. And if that emotion doesn't follow suit and extend into your life, your bhakti is not yet enough. Your bhakti is isolated bhakti. Bhakti should make you courageous. Why? Lord is with you. Abhi kya hai? The Lord is with you. What are you afraid of? Like Muhammad Ali, the famous boxer, would say, he used to call God Shorty. I think it is an American humor, you know. He used to call God Shorty. He says, Shorty is in my corner. What should I be afraid of anything? Yeah. I'll meet giants of the boxing world, no problems. I'm fine. Yeah. So that type of extension of that bhakti to life has to be there. That is the test of bhakti actually. Or the first sign of problems, you are running scared. A classical example I give. Many of Shankara's followers don't like me giving this example. But I think I have to make a point by giving it. Okay. Anyway, I am a follower of Shankara, right through and through. I accepted the robes as well. One of the Shankaracharyas were arrested under a false FIR. The whole arrest was illegal. Okay. There was no evidence against him, but he was arrested. It was purely political. So various Hindu organizations like Vishwa Hindu Parishad, etc., they had protests all over the country for this. Right thing to do. And there is a Shankara Kinkara Sabha, Kainkirya Sabha, a Sabha made of devotees of the Acharya. Okay? Devotees of the spiritual leader. who were willing to do anything for him. At least that's what they claim. So I said, let us have a prayer meeting in Bombay. The arrest was in Madras, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The political leader there has got no power in Bombay. I said, let us have a prayer meeting for him. No? Because I knew if I said, let us have a protest meeting for him, none of them will come around. I was hoping that for a prayer meeting they will come around. They were too scared to do in a prayer meeting. I said, what is the use of your bhakti? Idiotic. There is no bhakti. There is no bhakti. There is only some sort of feeling. Yeah. Where is the bhakti? Can't stand up. Yeah. You say you love your teacher, you will do anything for him. No? You consider him God, you worship him. You consider it a privilege if he allows you to go and touch his feet or do a pada puja. And then you run scared. There is not bhakti. There is no bhakti there. Forget it. Yeah. If this is making anyone uncomfortable here, very good. Tapas has started. Tapas has started. Yeah. Because many of the Shankaracharya devotees are there here also. Which is good. Tapas has started. If you are uncomfortable, because look inside and see how much is your bhakti. Yeah. How much is your bhakti? Yeah. Therefore, this bhakti that you have, the acts of bhakti that you do, is supposed to evoke that out of you, and you are supposed to extend it to your day-to-day life. You are supposed to extend it to your day-to-day life. Without that extension, the bhakti is not yet real. It is confined to your puja corner. It is exactly like something is confined to the bedroom, something is confined to the puja corner, something is confined to the kitchen. That is not bhakti. Can you say, I'll express my love to my partner only in the bedroom? Can you not tell her or him, I love you when you are together watching a movie or something? If you can't, where is that love? It comes on only when the lights are off. Huh? Similarly, where is that bhakti if it is confined only to your puja room? I think for some people this may be a wrong example. Because affection is confined only when the lights are off. Samsaroyam ativa vichitram, as Shankara said. The samsara is very, very strange. All sorts of nonsense happen. Yeah. Yeah. So, this is where the whole thing is. Okay? That is why that yajna, the worship, is put there. Tapobhihi, yajnabhihi, and danadibhihi, danam, to share what you have. Okay? Danam is, charity is a bit of a different word. It has got other implications now, but okay, other implications are there, but okay, to share what you have with others. Yeah. We all have something to share anyway. Yeah. And we share what we have. You can't share what we don't have anyway. Yeah. Easiest thing to share is possessions. What you have in terms of money, things, etc. That's the easiest to share. But it is good. Even if you are starting with that, it is fine. Sharing that. Sharing your time, your knowledge, if the other person wants it, not otherwise. Okay, be careful when you're sharing knowledge and your wisdom. You may think you're a very wise person, and you may be a wise person, but the other person may not want it. So you have to be careful with that. Your time, your support as a person, these are important things to share. Why? You're opening up your heart. You're opening up your heart. Because eventually in Vedanta you must have Sarvatma Buddhi. I am the everything. No, you can't say I am everything minus my neighbor, minus this character, minus that character. So this thing of sharing opens up your heart. Not only that, those of you who attended this thing where I talked about the evolution of a seeker, and I talked about, said we are all born as a vulnerable child, therefore we carry the vulnerable child within us. Then is the birth of the awareful ego. The ego is born when you are more aware of I, etc. Generally this happens when you are about 2-year-old. The birth of the ego. That's why we talk about children as having their terrible twos. Though many parents have asked me, terrible twos? Even 20s are also terrible. True. But the ego is born at that time. Then, after the ego is a learner, etc., one who learns. The achiever. The one who achieves things. It's important. That phase of development is very, very important. In the name of spirituality, you cannot skip the stage. The achiever of someone who is able to compete and achieve things. It's an important stage of growth. Achiever. After the achiever, Dhanam comes into the picture, the giver has to come up. The one who is willing to share. The one who is willing to think win-win. The one who is willing to do things for others as well, not only be self-centered about the whole thing. That has to come in. After that, is really speaking in terms of growth, the seeker is born. Now, seeking starts early itself, that is true. But if these three processes are there, the vulnerable child you are in touch with, the achiever you are in touch with, the giver you are in touch with, then your seeking gains a better edge and dimension. It's a better dimension altogether. The seeking is very, very real then. It is not groping in the dark for something. Such a seeker can really get it. Therefore, tapo yajna dana dibihi shuddha buddhihi. One whose buddhi is fine. Okay? He is refined his thinking. Therefore, virakta nirpadehi pade tat tuchha buddhya. He gains a vairagya. Why? Arey Baba, I have been there, done that, I have achieved things. It has given me some joy, some happiness. It has given me some emotional this. But the fulfillment I seek, I have not gotten any of those things. If I don't get fulfillment with ₹1,000,000, I am not going to get it with $1 billion. Money is what money does. I can do a lot of things. ₹1,000,000, I can do a few things. 1 billion, I can do a lot more. Yeah, 1 billion, I can do a lot more. Yeah. So, it's what money does. But all the doing doesn't fulfill me anyway. All the others doesn't fulfill me as a person. I am looking for fulfillment in life. If you live life well, you will naturally come to this conclusion that life does not give you everything that you want. What you seek is fulfillment, and you are not going to get. However much you tune your work, however much you tune your relationships, how much you become a control freak in tuning all these things. Why do you think people try to control each other so much? Because only then I will get my fulfillment, and you are not going to get it. Why? The other person is trying to control you. Or like most Indian men, they are given up and they forget it. That's when other problems start. Yeah. Therefore, that viraktatvam, vairagya, objectivity comes into life. I mean, I'm enjoying all these things, but I know that the fulfillment I seek is not going to come from them. This understanding from life, the more you understand it from life, the better you are as a seeker. You can understand it because you attended a class. That's okay. The class put you on that line of thinking. But you need to understand that from your own experiences. You should be able to relate your own experiences to that. That relationship I got into is not fulfilling me. The child that I have is great, but it's not a sense of fulfillment. My career, I achieved a lot of things, but it's not fulfillment. There may be still a lot for me to achieve, that's fine, but it is not fulfillment. Therefore, virakta nripadehe pade. Even if you are a king, nowadays there are no kings, but business heads, etc. Unicorn is the latest, no, in business. Yeah, every city in India has some unicorns. Even small cities, second tier, third tier cities have it. Good. I'm very happy with that. Why? It will lead to overall progress, better employment, better creation of wealth. That's all good for the country. My unicorn has created $1 billion. It has crossed. It's worth $1 billion. Okay, then you are a chieftain at least, if not a king. But what? Will it give you the fulfillment that you are seeking? There are a few guys who are worth millions of dollars, and now what they are doing? They are giving away that money. Thinking they'll get fulfillment out of that, which is good. They are helping a lot of people. They are also manipulating some people. I see in both of it. But by hoarding or giving, you are not going to create fulfillment. Sharing is better because at least the poor are benefited. Those who don't have are benefited. But before you start sharing, you must have something. So achiever is also equally important. But the fulfillment you will not get. Therefore, even Nripadehe Padam, the status of being a king, exactly like what Arjuna said to Krishna in the Gita. It took a battle for him to make him understand that from life experiences. He says, even if I am made the king of heaven and earth, my heart will be empty. The fulfillment that I seek is not going to come. He knew very well kingship is more of a responsibility. In ancient India, we had kings. They were very democratic kings because they would not cross the line as far what their advisors said. They had a whole team of advisors to advise them on various aspects of ruling, economy, commerce, everything. And they would go by that advice because one hallmark of a good leader is to recognize that I don't know everything. Therefore, I better listen to some experts in these things. I can still do what I think is best, but I have to listen to various experts in different fields. So it's a responsibility. Only nowadays, some of our political leaders, by hierarchy, they want to have the position. Then they can loot the country better. But it doesn't. Okay, you loot the country. You are done enough. Have you gained fulfillment? You still got a son who is an idiot. Another person got a son who did a coup of the party and sidelined his father. Third person is promoting some nephew. This goes on. No one gets fulfillment. Yeah. No one gains fulfillment. Yeah. Nripade, by the position of being a king also you won't get fulfilled. Therefore he says, Parityajya sarvam yadatmoti tattvam. Giving up all this. Meaning, giving up your feeling that you are going to get fulfillment for all this, from all this. That idea, giving up. If you have something, enjoy it. What is the problem? No issue. As long as you don't get stuck in a rut, you are fine. Okay? But Parityajya, you are understanding that this is not going to get me fulfillment. Then yad apnoti tattvam, who gains this, the understanding of the reality, who understands that limitlessness, who gains the limitlessness. Here, literally he says, who gains the limitlessness. That is the only thing that will give you fulfillment, because no finite thing is giving you fulfillment. If a finite thing is not giving you fulfillment, another finite thing is not going to give you that fulfillment. If you can't be happy in one relationship, I doubt how much you can be happy in another relationship. If both of them are okay, if both the people you are involved with are okay, I don't know how much you will be. If you are looking for fulfillment in a relationship, anyway it's not there. Yes, physical and emotional companionship is there. That's great. That's good. More than that, forget it. More than that is moksha. That you won't get out of a relationship. You won't get giving up the relationship also. You will gain that only if you gain the tattvam, the reality. What is that reality? Parabrahma nityam tadevaham asmi. That is known in the Shastra as Parabrahman. That I have to be. Tadeva aham asmi iti. He is presenting it as a goal here, nothing more than that. That's why I am not explaining it here. Okay? Presenting it as a goal. This is what you have to gain. All right, agreed. What you are saying makes a lot of sense. I have experienced life. Yes. Moksha, here I come. I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm ready. Come on. What should I do? What should I do? It's a good attitude to have. I am willing to do whatever it takes. That's a good attitude to have. You know? Not that, I will see, I will think. No. I decided I will do what it takes. Okay. All right, you are willing to do what it takes. Here is what you have to do to gain it. What is that? Dayalum gurum brahmanishtam prashantam samaaradya bhaktya vichara-swarupam yadapnoti tattvam nididhyasa vidwan parabrahma nityam tadevaham asmi. Simple. Oh, simple, asana. Dayalum gurum. Go to a compassionate guru. Brahmanishtam prashantam. Who is rooted in this knowledge. Prashantam, himself very, very composed, calm. Samaradhya bhaktya, worshipping him with devotion. Vicharya-swarupam, inquire into the true nature of yourself. Yad apnoti tattvam, then when you have gained the understanding of that reality. Nididhyasa vidwan, own it up in contemplation. What? Parabrahma nityam tadevaham asmi. That Parabrahman is myself. Okay? That is the end result. That is moksha. All right. So now, to look at a little bit verse in a little bit more detail. Dayalum gurum. A guru is always presented as compassionate. Even though he may be very, very confrontative. Like some of my Tuesday students are finding how confrontative I can be. I'm sure some of them are dreading every Tuesday class also. Yeah. But he is always presented as Dayalu, and there is a reason for that. Shankara elsewhere says, if somebody is bitten by a snake, it is easy to be compassionate and helpful to that person. Because he's got that, when I'm going into this thing, you are willing to carry him to the hospital. You know. Forget lending just a shoulder, you are willing to carry him to the hospital. Why? Because he is bitten by a snake. But supposing you come across a person who is saying, I have been bitten by a snake, I have been bitten, and holding his leg and sitting down, and what you see there is a rope. Now to help that person requires more compassion. Most of us will laugh and walk away. Ye kya hai? Pagal hai. To even stop and say, hey, Baba, don't worry. Main hu na, I am there for you. Please, don't worry. Babaji hai na idhar. I am a Swami here, na. I will take down all the poison out of you. No issues. You will find yourself free from the poison. Okay. Here now, I am switching on my divine torch. Look at that snake. The tears turn out to be into a very sheepish smile. Why? Because what is there is a rope. But to spend that time and be there for that person, to show the person it is nothing but a rope that you in your misunderstanding has taken it as snake, requires a lot of compassion. Similarly, the student comes saying, I'm samsaari, I'm not fulfilled, I have a lot of issues in life. Narayana, kuch nahi hai. He is nothing but the absolute reality, and is coming and telling me he has got problems. I'm sorry, I'm unhappy. You are nothing but Ananda. What should the guy say? Start laughing and say, hey, idiot, you are Ananda, go. Guru is justified in doing it, but it doesn't work. Is the Guru saying something wrong? Idiot, you are Ananda, and you are saying I am unhappy. Go. Go fish. Go fly a kite. In India, you have to be careful when you say go fly a kite. Because if Shankranti is around the corner, he'll say, that is the sadhana the Guru has given me. I have to go and literally fly a kite. On Shankranti day, he'll go and fly kites. So, because the Guru does not really see the problem that you have. He understands. Why? Good thing he understands. Because he was there in the same situation before. A few years before you, he or she was in the same situation. So you understand, kya hai? I have walked this path. The pathless path I have walked, so I know what it is. Okay. Yeah. Especially if the Guru has experienced life. It's important. Knows the hassles of relationship, that family, all that he knows. Then you know, hota hai. It happens. It's part of the game. Okay. Therefore, dayalum gurum. But just being a compassionate person itself is not enough to be a guru. Brahmanishtam, who's rooted in this knowledge of Brahman. I am that reality. Who's rooted in it. You can't test him on that. Not possible. Because you don't know Brahman enough to test him. Whether he knows Brahman. You know. Because I came across some books written by some Vimalananda, someone, who says, oh, the Guru has the right to test the student. Similarly, you must test the Guru. We are all open for it, okay? But do you know enough to test? It is me trying to test somebody who has who teaches doctorate students, postdoc students in mathematics, in complex calculus. Where do I even have knowledge to test him? I understand calculus, yes. Though I may not understand everything he says. I have engineering level calculus with me. Okay, fine. Even with that much of knowledge, I can't test that guy. Then how is somebody who has not heard the scriptures, etc., test somebody who is Brahmanishta or not? Therefore, you go by a few things. Does he have a parampara? Is he postponing moksha or talking about it as right now? Those few things you will go by. You can't even go, do I feel good after listening to this? You can't do that. Because there are many people who will make you feel good. Make you feel special. Make you feel unique. We are the chosen few. All that is a problem. If you are the chosen few, guaranteed you have a problem. Prashantam. Who's calm? Calm meaning what? Can't be shaken by anything. Can't be shaken by anything. Prashanta. Yeah. Not that who's always, when he teaches, whether he is cracking a joke or anything, he will always be talking like this only. Why? Prashantam. You crack a joke to him, that's the maximum you will get out of him. And if someone makes a mistake, he'll say, that is not the right thing to do. I want you to do it differently. No, but the Guru can be, hey idiot, what are you doing? Not Prashantam. No, that is not the idea, okay? You are not shaken by anything. You enjoy life. You are full of life. You can be roaring with laughter. You can be sitting calmly somewhere. It's okay. You are always shantaha. That's why he uses the word prashantaha. Like we saw in the meditation today morning, it is not the absence of thought or the absence of sound, but it is in spite of the sound. It is in spite of the thinking. That is called prashantaha. So you are rooted in that. Okay. Samaradhya bhaktya, to approach him with devotion. Okay. Yeah. Why this devotion, shraddha, etc. is talked about? Because the Guru's job, he'll validate you as a person. As a person, everyone is validated, everybody is accepted, no issues. But can he agree with everything that you are thinking and feeling? Then he is not a Guru, he is a boyfriend. I can't even say husband because husbands will disagree. Okay. Yeah. He has to be a Guru. If he has to be a Guru, he has to challenge your thinking. He has to dismiss some of your thinking. He has to correct a lot more of your thinking. That means there will be a time when you will be very, very uncomfortable. There are times when you will be very, very uncomfortable. Yeah, you will be. What is it that will make you stick with the pursuit even when you are uncomfortable? Your sense of shraddha, your trust in the teacher. Hey, I trust this guy. What he is doing is working for me. He doesn't want anything out of me. I am willing to help him in whatever he wants to do. Yeah. And whatever he is doing is not for himself personally. Yeah. I happily threw myself into whatever my teacher was doing. Helped him in any way I could. Why? Because he is doing it for the benefit of everyone. I was benefited by the knowledge. I am being benefited. Therefore, if he is doing for other people's benefit, I will help him with that. Why? Because I am here because of somebody else's work who reached out to me. Therefore, I will help in that reaching out. Simple as that. Simple. That is another aspect of bhakti. Yeah. My Guru was in his 60s when he set up Coimbatore ashram. And he was joking with me. We were sitting down together in Rishikesh. Hey, most people retire in their 60s. I am thinking of setting up a full thing. And that time he had started getting diabetes, slight BP, etc. His health was failing him. By God's grace and Guru's grace, nothing of that sort for me yet. Yeah. So he says, what will save you is your bhakti, is your devotion, is your shraddha. Otherwise you will walk away. In fact, recently one of the kids who was attending the camps in the class has walked away. She told somebody, he's too critical. For 10 years I validated. Time now, no? To point out some things. 10 years you validated, you supported, you helped the person grow. अभी तक थोड़ा श्रद्धा आने के नहीं. I don't ask for it in the beginning. No. I believe I have to earn that. So what do? I say a prayer, Lord, take care of that kid. I can't. I have taken care of 10 years. Now it's your kid, you take care of. Therefore, what saves is what you have within you. That bhakti will save you. Therefore, and then what are you supposed to do? Just sit around, oh, my guru is great. No, vicharya swarupam. Into your true nature, vicharya. That means inquire into the pramana that deals with it. You can't directly inquire into yourself. Shastra rupena, guru mukhat, learn. Learn the Shastra with the help of a competent teacher, like how all of you are doing right now. Vicharya Swarupam. Then, yad apnoti tattvam. When you gain the tattva, the understanding of that, if you gain it and it is your own, no problems, walk away free, like Nachiketa did, like Gargi did, like Shvetaketu did. Walk away free. Brahmaham asmiti. If not, nididhyasa. Nididhyasa vidwan. Let the vidwan do contemplation on it, to own it up, to make it your own. Nididhyasa. What are you going to do? Contemplate on? On your understanding, on the reality, on the knowledge of the reality as your own Swarupa. Do that. Contemplate on that. Nididhyasa Swarupam. Look at it. The pramana is always Shravanam. Knowledge you gain only through Shravanam, nothing else. Shravanam gives you the knowledge. Mananam takes care of the doubts. You thinking and analyzing on what is being heard takes care of the doubts that you will have. And if you can't answer your own doubts, check up with your Guru Bhais, your fellow students. Not enough, check up with the teacher, no issues. Always available for that. And then, Swamiji, I know it, but I don't feel it. That's a little bit of lack of integrity. What you know is not flowing through into your heart. Therefore, like how you did for bhakti, act of worship. Similarly, here is nididhyasanam, contemplation on the truth to make it your own. As Swami Chinmayanji would say, what has gone through the ears to the head, what has gone through, should sink into the heart, otherwise a leak from the mouth. You'll be good at talking about it. To everyone you'll give a talk. Whether they want to hear you or not, you will talk about it. Make it your own before you talk. Make it your own. Own it up. Own it up. For owning up, contemplation, nididhyasanam. And once you do that, then what? Brahmeva ahamasmiti. I am nothing but Brahman. Tadeva Brahman ahamasmi. That Brahman is myself. Or kya hai? I thought it was separate and I went searching for Brahman. I became a seeker. I was seeking Brahman. Actually, you are seeking fulfillment. Because you listened to Vedanta, you understood that what you are seeking is Brahman. But the very seeking is the denial of the fact that you are the sought, not the seeker. So don't own up your seeker identity also too strongly. Yeah. Don't own it up too strongly. You have to drop that as well. In the beginning, it is good to have it strong because that will take you to the teacher, to the learning, etc. That even if it is in the middle of the night, you will sit down for a class. That is great. I respect that. Yeah. Yeah, that's an ability that everyone has to cultivate. I remember when I used to travel with Swamiji, After dinner, 10 o'clock, I go to his room. Say, Swamiji, is there anything I can do before you go to sleep or something? Yes, 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 bring your books. Call Uday also. Come on, let's have a class at 10 o'clock in the night. Uday is already in his bed. Okay, the batchmate of mine is already in the. I say, hey, get up, class now. Oh, Abhi, now. I said, yeah, now. Still have a 45-minute class. Then 15 minutes I'll massage his legs and things like that, so that he was getting older at that time. And he's sitting all the time, so he would get a bit stiff, so I do that. And then 11 o'clock come back. Because next morning you have to get up only at 5, not a big thing. Yeah. So you're ready whenever. And then you own it up in Nididhyasana by yourself. You make it your own. Tadeva Brahma Aham Asmiti. After that what? After that you're Ananda or kya? What do you do after that? You're fulfilled. You can do what you want. Like one of my students has come and said, oh, Swamiji, I want to take sannyasa. Oh, okay, fine. Take sannyasa. Somebody else may say, no, now that I am free, I want to get married. Okay, get married. Any rule is there or what? After moksha, you can't get married. Yeah. No, Swamiji, I just want to be a simple being. Murkhavat acharayat. Like the other fools in society, you also live along. Fool meaning ignorant one. Like the other ignorant, you also live along with them. Enjoy it. It's like going back into a dream with the full knowledge you are the waker. You enjoy such dreams, no? Yeah, go ahead. Enjoy what you want. You're free. You're free. With that, good place to stop. You can have a small break, have a cup of tea or water or whatever. Next class will be by Swamini at 11:30. She'll be there from 11:30 to 12:30, 12:45. Then we break for lunch. She will come again at 4 o'clock. I will come in at 5. Okay. So good place to call it. Om Tat Sat. Take care. Have a quick break and come back. Yeah. Thank you all. Take care. Thank you. Nice to have all of you here. Yeah. Thank you all. Nice to see all of you. I can understand London is cold. Nisha is with a sweater and everything. Yes.
I have this also.
Yeah, I know. It's really cold there.